What's up, everyone? My name is Jesse. This is the Auditorium. I react to video game music for the first time, and today's a little bit of a surprise. I'm kind of doing this without anyone knowing. This is the debut of Donkey Kong 64. I had to double check. I could have sworn I did this, but no, I've only done the Country series of games, so I've never done Donkey Kong 64. We have 3 songs for you today, requested by Berserker88 and Kelvin. We have Creepy Castle, followed by Frantic Factory, which consists of 2 songs of Toys Are Alive and Mad Jack Madness, which I guess is the boss. These are from the channel's Video Game OST HQ and Gilva Center Archive. Before I get started on this one, I've been told that this is Grant Kirkhope as opposed to David Wise, so that's something. Also, these were suggested quite a bit in my Patreon for my upcoming episode of VGM Vibe 7, which is going to be spooky themed video game songs. So, a debut and then 3 songs at that. That's going to be quite interesting. So let me make sure this is all ready to go. All right. Well, I'm not going to lie. I don't even know there was a Donkey Kong game on the 64, but here we go. I thought there was only the Donkey Kong Country and the Diddy Kong games. Interested to hear Grant Kirkhope's approach to this. Okay, Creepy Castle. I've heard his stuff on Banjo-Kazooie, so let's see if it's similar. Immersion right away. Ooh. Sounds like an out-of-tune piano. I wonder if that was him that did that voice line. I think it's gonna loop a lot. It's 6 minutes, so might as well get comfy. They're like spiders falling from the ceiling and stuff. Glockenspiel. This melody right here sounds a little Final Fantasy to me. Not anymore, just that one part. I can see why people wanted me to hear this one for spooky vibes. Ooh. It's like a harpsichord kind of sound. It's a perfect instrument, honestly, for Halloween. Harpsichord. It's perfect. It even looks evil. I can already tell this is going to be filled with character, like this whole soundtrack. Grant Kirkhope has a way of kind of painting. He's like, I was gonna say like a Bob Ross of video game music, but I don't know if that's seen negatively. I think Bob Ross is awesome. I just mean like the artistic integrity, you know, a little above and beyond stuff. Is that a bassoon? I like the snaps. Feels very, is this like Addams Family inspired? That might be a thing. I don't think I've ever heard snaps relating to spooky, unless it's the Addams Family. This is perfect because it sounds like something you would hear in like a kids kind of movie, like Casper or something. Yeah. Serious yet whimsical at the same time. Dude, Grant is. Yeah. And now we have sounds of the wind. So this is interesting. We're hearing like the castle what sounds like to me is like both interior and exterior. So maybe at some point you're outside and then you go in. This is like, there's different vibes, right? There's like spooky, there's like cartoon spooky, and then there's like straight up Halloween. This sounds like Halloween, straight up. So much so that I can bypass the castle part. The setting in my head doesn't even, I'm not seeing castle. I just hear Halloween, which is, yeah. I could see this music under like a moonlight cemetery. I mostly get like a haunted house feel. But a castle is pretty spooky too, so. As we've learned from Chrono Trigger. One thing I really like about this is that there's so many sounds of the synths. We got the stabs. We got the harpsichord. This is like essential Halloween party. You know, if you're throwing a Halloween party, it's gotta go up there. Or you know how people decorate their front porch for trick-or-treaters? They'll just have this like on a little stereo playing. Trill. I love trills. Very spooky. Now the question is, do you confront that laughing entity, or are they just in the background? I love trills. Trills are so perfect musically for something like this. Just the sound of two notes alternating back and forth. Yeah, dude, that was like a seminar of Halloween, dude. I feel like this is one of the first things that would pop into someone's mind as soon as you ask them, which in my case I did. I asked a group of people, you know, what are some songs that come to mind when it comes to spooky vibes? And I feel this was just, you know, when they thought about the games they played or something they've heard, this just goes back into one of those, like, into the archives of like, wait, what's spooky? Oh yeah, this one for sure. It's just drenched in it all over. And before I forget, the whole thing of trills, you know, this just idea of a little like sound, to me it's always sounded cool in any instrument. Trumpets, guitars, I use it on guitars a lot, piano stuff of course, harpsichord in this case. It's a really cool thing. And if you ever have listened to, kind of a side note but somewhat related, maybe Grant's heard of what I'm about to talk to. I think he was a rocker in his days. But if you ever listen to Ozzy Osbourne, the first like solo records, like Bark at the Moon and stuff. Well, I'm not sure about Bark at the Moon. No, I don't know the exact albums, but like Mr. Crowley, for example, which is like Halloween metal song. The guitarist who's no longer with us, Randy Rhoads, he did a lot of trills, so it like adds to that whole like Prince of Darkness to him. Same with Ozzy with Black Sabbath. Tony Iommi, the guitarist, used to do a lot of trills in the song. Oh man, what song is it? Is it Black Sabbath? Dun, dun, da, 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 da. I can't remember the name of that one. I'll try to remember and put it here. But anyways, so it's cool to hear it here. I haven't heard a lot of Grant Kirkhope. Maybe like somewhere in the realm of like 5 songs or so, and maybe even less. But they've been the banjo stuff. I am like 95% positive this is the first time I've heard him do Donkey Kong 64. I just want to make sure I'm not confusing it with like the Donkey Kong Country, which was like David Wise, Evelyn, and Robin Beanland. So it's like I just want to make sure, but I'm not entirely positive. But what I've noticed immediately from Grant Kirkhope is 007, the pause theme, and some other stuff too. But one thing, he's really proud of his work, which is awesome, you know? Like, if you follow him on social media, he's still talking about it all the time, you know? It's great, you know? But from what I've noticed of this composer is that he's a very characteristic style of composer where I see it as more like maybe like an author of a book or an artist doing a painting, very methodical. A lot of the instruments to me in his composition sound like characters in a game. Like they could all be their own characters, you know. Yeah, it's a composition of music, and there's, you know, a verse section and a chorus and a bridge and stuff like that, but it's really, it feels like an adventure going through it. Like it feels like the music is going along almost perfectly with the whatever's happening on screen, timed right with like a door opening, a character shows up out of nowhere kind of thing. Like when I hear each instrument here being played, I imagine a bunch of different little spooky things, you know. When I hear the trill of the harpsichord, I imagine like a spider crawling around. I hear the laughter, I think of like, you know, a silhouette with just eyes poking through, stuff like that, you know. It just really paints a picture. So while it is very musical, it's very visual to me. And I think you can't really help but think anything else was something called Creepy Castle, you know? But that was cool. And yeah, now I'm curious if like what was the reasoning behind going from David Wise to Grant Kirkhope? Unless either it wasn't available from too many projects, or just Nintendo wanted to try something else. I'm very curious about that. But it works. I don't think. Yeah, that totally works. That's great. That's all I got for that one. This is interesting because the name of the song is, again, drawing a huge picture. It's called Toys Are Alive. And considering this is also voted for as like spooky stuff, I'm guessing it's either very closely related to the previous song, as in like in a very similar world or section. I guess we'll see once the music starts, like if it gives that feeling. But Toys Are Alive, you know, that's what feeling am I getting? I'm getting like Sid's toys from Toy Story, like just evil concoctions and just, you know, or like what was that movie, Small Soldiers, which was somehow a kid's movie, even though it wasn't. So I'm gonna guess these toys that are alive are not good toys. Frantic Factory. Okay, let's go. Donkey Kong 64. I'm sorry. Jack in the Box. This makes me feel like something's gonna pop out like any moment musically. Maybe now? Yeah, too, the sound effects too. Like that's what I mean. There's a lot of visuals in your head. Ooh. Oh, sounds like a heartbeat. This sounds creepy. The idea of like a little inanimate object coming alive and like. Sounds like a clock. Toy clock. Oh. It's stuff like this that you're gonna remember for your entire life. You'll never forget a soundtrack like this. And imagine being a kid or a teenager or a young adult hearing this. I would even say it's probably some of your favorite memories of your life. Yeah, it's definitely spooky in its own way. I feel like it could be a 50-50, so it's really not. It's just a thought I had. Either Grant, when he writes and he's part of a project, he's fully immersed and does nothing but listen to something like this, or does the complete opposite, and when he's not working on it, listens to anything but. I don't know if the term I'm looking for is like a similar thing would be like a method actor. Let me see if that's the proper term. Yeah, something like that. Kind of like a, hey, you're gonna work on this soundtrack. All right, watch nothing but Goosebumps and The Twilight Zone and stuff like that. I don't know. Because it sounds like you're living through this stuff. Not just hearing it. Yeah, dude. I've only heard 2.5 songs and I can tell this whole soundtrack is just bustling with character. It's interesting for me, for someone who missed the whole Nintendo craze. I didn't grow up with Nintendo, so better late than never, huh? But it's cool I get to experience it as a adult musician. And then there's a boss to this. Interesting. Oh, I wonder if there's a boss for Creepy Castle. I don't know. Oh, that sound. You know, do you know how prolific you have to be for me to have heard so little and to be able to distinguish that person? I've been listening to some composers now for 3 years, and sometimes I can't even tell who it is. Sometimes I can. They have some characteristics, and then you got some that are really good at what they do by being so varied. You know, let's just take a random example, Yuzo Koshiro. I would say if I heard something from him and didn't know it was him, I can say maybe I would be about 3/4, 75% confident in saying it's him. He has a knack for groove and rhythm, but very diverse. And you got stuff like David Wise, you know, also very ambient and chill with a lot of emphasis on rhythm as well and groove. There's a bunch, right? Motoi Sakuraba has organs and just a lot. There's so many. But I've heard them throughout the years and I've kind of gathered a collection, right, in my ears. I have not heard a lot of Grant Kirkhope. I'm telling you, it's like Banjo-Kazooie, and then that was the first impression, Mad Monster Mansion, and that was like, okay, this is what they're about. And then I heard 007, and now this, right? And we still have one more song to go, which I'm very curious about the next one, because the next one's a boss theme, and I started with a boss theme, which was the Mad Monster Mansion. So see how that goes. But already I feel like I'm like at least 90% confident that I can maybe think it's a song composed by him, because of the characteristics of sound effects, sound design. You know, the not only is he kind of like a Bob Ross as far as by the way, Bob Ross is like a genius, so, but he's like a video game composer slash like Foley artist. You know, those people that, you know, do random sound effects to emulate something that's happening on screen, like maybe people walking or something. I don't know how these sound effects were gathered, if they were recorded himself or, you know, samplers. I don't know. But the effort is clearly there, and it has stayed with people's hearts and minds for decades now. That was so pretty much the same as Creepy Castle. It just felt so immersive, you know. It feels like you're the toy here. Either you're normal sized and you're watching, you know, creepy toys coming alive, or it feels like you could be that toy coming to life, and, you know, whatever. But all the sound effects, the wind-ups, the little, you know, tiny little xylophones, whatever you can think of. Yeah. The recipe was there, and it was executed. I want to get right into the next one, because it's the boss, I guess, for this place, Frantic Factory. Oh, I just realized, yeah, Frantic Factory. What kind of factory is that, you know? Is it a toy factory? This is Mad Jack Madness. Let's see if we hear any motifs from the last one. If we're going to hear even more sound effects. I can almost guarantee we're going to hear sound effects at this point. But that's okay. This is Mad Jack Madness, the boss of Frantic Factory in Donkey Kong 64. Was that kind of close with the Jack in the Box thing? Mad Jack? I should see a picture of this. I'm going to look this up, because I'm going to have to look it up anyways to put it in the episode. Mad Jack. Jack in the Boxes don't really laugh though. Or do they? I'm literally watching a video right now. I never have context, and we have context 100% right now. Actually, no. I'm gonna pause it. I have it set up. The energy picked up like crazy, though. I haven't watched it, but I got it ready. Oh, the arpeggios. A lot of this stuff sounds like an evil parade too. You know, those like marching bands for football games and stuff? They should totally do a Donkey Kong 64 song, and no one would be able to tell it's from a video game. Yeah, the energy is off the charts here. I need to find out where that laugh came from. Sounds like a clown. When I think of that, I immediately think of a clown. Like Sweet Tooth or something. I can hear the Banjo-Kazooie here. I don't know which came first, but I feel like fans of Banjo-Kazooie are fans of this game and vice versa. This kind of music is making me feel. This kind of music is always making me feel like the background is moving quickly or something. The only way I can describe that is, well, I'll explain in a second. Like the movement of the song is very, it's fast, so it makes me think I'm visually seeing fast. I'm about to find out in a couple seconds. Do the arpeggio the whole time. Of course, you gotta end with a laugh. You know, there's something to be said about stuff that resembles a, I don't know what the genre is, but like a marching band, like a parade type stuff. I don't know what you would call that, but just that sound, you know, with like those big toms and snares and just like a bunch of people and you can hear the steps. To make something that sounds like that, but yet kind of freaky, that sounds terrifying. That sounds super terrifying. Imagine a float, like a Halloween parade and float. This would be like the anthem for that. So what I was going to say is I have it queued up here. I'm going to watch it. And the reason I have context, or I'm about to have context, is usually I don't. You know, I didn't see Creepy Castle or Toys R Live. But since this is going to be featured in VGM Vibe 7, a sub-series where I talk about themed video game songs, I need to know the context and I need to have seen what's going on. So I might as well just do it now. But two things came to mind immediately. One was the fast kind of, I feel like the background or the movement of the characters are really fast here, which is kind of the opposite of what I got from Toys R Live, because that felt like more of an attic and I'm just kind of hanging out somewhere. This felt like, this feels like if we were in an attic and then we just like dropped to the, like we crashed through and then here we are. And the imagery I got for this was a game I mentioned quite a bit, is A Hat in Time, composed by Pascal Stifel, a game I love. And there's a boss fight with Snatcher and involving a toilet of doom. But when you fight him, it's all, you know, it's all spooky, kind of like graveyard-looking foresty kind of thing at night. But then when you fight him, whoom, all these colors come up and it starts swirling around and it looks like a rave all of a sudden. And the music is also picks up quite a bit. So that was my thought going into this. Now I'm actually going to just find out right now in real time. I'm looking at the channel V Gaming Junkie VT. I'm not gonna watch the whole thing. I'm just kind of want to like kind of just watching in real time. I guess you can watch with me. Let me fast forward. Ah, oh, that was the other thing I was gonna say. That was the other thing I was gonna say is the whole. Oh, damn! Hold on, I might have predicted this pretty well actually, because in Toys R Live, the like, ding 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 ding. That was, I think I said it was like a Jack in the Box, right? That's like the only thing I can think of when it comes to Jack in the Box. Or other like wind up toys where they wind up the gear on the back and then just kind of walk. But I was thinking somewhere between like Clown and Jack in the Box. And then about like the first couple seconds of this one, I saw Mad Jack. It's like, okay, maybe it is that. It's the first thing I see here. So what's a Jack in the Box? There you go. You see me guess in real time. I'm proud of myself. I need to wipe my screen. I'm sorry. Okay, so the background is definitely not... I don't even know why I'm showing you guys. You guys know what this looks like, but in case you don't know and never play this, the background is not... Here, let me get it in focus. The background is not moving fast as I thought. I'm watching this for the first time with you guys, but it seems to be a chaotic Jack-in-the-Box. It's way darker than I imagined. Then again, it could just be a like a phase 1. Damn, I'm pretty proud of myself for guessing the Jack-in-the-Box part, I'm not gonna lie. Let's see if there's more, like a phase 2. Fast forward, fast forward, fast forward. That looks terrifying though, the whole like platforming and looks like you're surrounded by death. It doesn't seem to change. It's always a black background. Oh, you know who this reminds me of? You know what this fight reminds me of? Did you guys ever play the... I don't remember if it was Crash 1 or Crash 2. But do you guys remember Ripperoo, the boss fight? That's kind of similar. Ripperoo was a... I don't even know his story. I think he's a dog. Yeah, he's a dog and he's kind of... You know, he's got like a straight jacket. He's... I don't know what the proper word is here, but he's crazy. He's super crazy. To the point where he's like... You know, whatever. But also in his fight... you have to kind of like avoid squares and stuff. I wonder which one inspired which. Man. Getting context in real time. Okay, well, I got the Jack-in-the-Box part, but the background I totally missed. It's the opposite. It's totally black. Which, honestly, that sounds kind of scary too, because in this era, PS1, Nintendo 64, something that I think is overlooked and something I really enjoyed of that time was draw distance. And I think it really helped some games to make them shine visually. An example that you're going to hear a lot about soon, a game called Medieval on the PlayStation. That was like basically a very Nightmare Before Christmas inspired game, very Halloween. And since it was on the PS1, the skies were black. And then even looking like 50 feet away, it was just black. So it really, you know, was creepy. And then when they remade it in 2019 and everything is visible, it lost a little bit of the spookiness. I will admit, it still looks great, but it lost a little bit of it. So I'm guessing maybe the same thing happened here. You know, maybe they wanted to do some kind of extravagant background, but having that black background kind of adds to it. So this was a crazy video. We heard 3 songs for the first time from this game. Grant Kirkhope, who I haven't heard in a long time, and that was just a ride. That was a big old ride. So let me know if these 2 songs play next to each other. Is the whole game kind of spooky inspired, or is it just like one section that's like haunted world or something like that? That was really cool though, seeing it in real time. But again, the only reason I did it is because I'm going to be looking at it up anyways, you know. So again, if you're new for some reason, this will go into VGM Vibes 7, which will be a spooky themed episode, and I will have context at that time, and then I can talk about them more in depth there. Okay, this video has gone very long. Grant Kirkhope is mad Jack genius. Okay, thank you Berserker88, thank you Calvin, thank you to all the voters, and surprise to them because they didn't know I was going to do this, and just thank you for hanging out. Thank you to all my patrons you see on the screen. I couldn't be here without them. Thanks to you for watching. I will see you in the next one.